understanding rotations, trading out map control. That is certainly the most exciting thing about Nuke. I personally feel like Nuke is the best map in the pool right now, Hulk. I don't know if you agree with that.
It's up there. It's up there for sure. The problem I have with Nuke is the one thing I know sometimes struggle with Nuke is I would like a few more options for individuals to make plays. It is very team dependent, but at the end of the day, that's what Counter-Strike is, Dinko. It's a team game, so I do like it in that sense. I like the structure you can bring to the map, so definitely with you. Nuke should be a fun one to kick things off, and it is pretty impressive that this is our winner's match from this group. We were not expecting this at all, but this is a huge opportunity for either of these guys to get through and get to that main event.
Well, I'll be honest, I did expect to see Enterprise at this point. I wasn't going to be surprised if they were here in the winner's matchup because I think they had a potential upset against Viswa yesterday. They were able to pull it off. 4C, off to a good start here. Hawker's first opening kill in a while. That'll be the opening in the pistol.
Yeah, good start coming in on the CT side. They've already got 2 early frags. As you pointed out, 4C didn't get a single opening kill in their map yesterday, so nice to see him getting involved in some early action in this one. And the CTs continue to try to take fights. Fleeve has got into an advanced position, but Hungary still have to find some kills in this round.
Yeah, really difficult situation being down 2 players so early on into this. A minute left as they're down into the lowest side of the map, and Mangus holds in for the back of the cylinder. Gonna peek out and spot the head of Fleeve, who is alone, swings out from the double doors as Coolio. And Mangus really would have loved to have hit the headshot up in towards ramp, but that's given a shot back into this here for Team Hungary. Bomb will go down, 3 versus 4 now. CT trying to get back in with the dual Berettas. The Aleve has come into play, and Fleeve is the answer back. He's found 2, and now a 1 versus 2 for Fleeve to try and clutch it out. It's a winnable round here for Team Hungary, and Fleeve, the player that really is probably the most experienced and disciplined player, has been able to pull it off here for Team Hungary. What a fantastic start into the pistol, and Team Hungary pull it off.
What a clutch from Fleeve. As you pointed out, experienced player, but also the highest rated player for this mixed team in the last few months. And that is an incredibly impressive pistol round to pull back. I was impressed by the positioning they gained, but I didn't think they were going to be able to turn it into the round win off the back of the early kills going against them. So great comeback into that one, coming through for Team Hungary. They get off to a good start. Enterprise have come straight back at them with the 4 spy though, so you can never assume that you've got this second round in the bag.
Oh yeah, well that's the problem, right? We've seen a lot of force by wins coming in yesterday, Hawk. We've seen a lot of them as the day went on. We are later in the day, but these teams haven't had to play the same best of ones. They haven't had to wake up early, get going those early best of ones, and then straight into their best of 3 loser matches that we got to see yesterday. So this is certainly a different environment. So hopefully when you come into 2 maps that are relatively tactical in form of Nuke and Inch, and there's a lot that can go wrong later in the day. But here we go with the play for Hungary in towards this top site. 4 players here for the CT side. Mattis off to a pretty good start, and Fleeve with the double. He's going to continue going forward, gets a 3rd kill, and now it's all into 4C left alone. He's up at heaven, they know exactly where he is. In fact, they've tied him down, they've done damage, and Iron eventually removes him from play. Hungary will go up 2-0.
Solid play, just getting into that A side of the map. Couple of kills off the back of Fleeve. Make sure that they have a good advantage. It's nice to see Team Hungary having some notes in front of them too. Even though they are more of a mixed team, they're not playing in an ESEA league, for example, right now. They've still got the notes. They've still come in with good preparation ahead of this series. And these are 2 teams that have a good bit of recent history playing up against each other. And the 3 times these organizations have played in recent months, Enterprise have always got the win, but it's always gone to as many maps as possible. Yeah. And as the desk pointed out, Team Hungary have got a couple of different players in here, so we'll see if that makes the difference.
Very varied roster. And for the Enterprise side, a team that I'm learning about for the first time really at this event. We haven't really got to see them anywhere else. You know, doing our prep notes and watching the games, certainly see a good level there for Enterprise. I think they're at a decent level. Some of the teams they're playing are around the 50th mark in the world from the HLT for ranking, so do have a good bit of experience of playing around this tier 3 scene. Benito rocking the Entropic stickers. Did see those guys arrive today. They'll be here for the main event in just a few days' time, but Fleeve is looking to carry Team Hungary through to there. The winner of this best of 3 will find themselves a spot in the main event. And Fleeve in particular, Hawk, is the player we all talk about. You know, we've seen this guy around before. We've seen his career. It's been a long career. He's had some roster moves there. He's been in some decent teams over the past few years. So certainly the talisman of this side. And what a start he's having. Another 3K for him. He started every round with at least 3 kills now so far at the beginning of this game.
And getting off to that strong start should also mean he has a good bit of money built up if he wants to get that AWP out as soon as possible. It can be difficult on the T side of Nuke to get that AWP going. Fleeve has been dealt with in this round. It's not bad damage done by Matties there. I'll see if they can get that AK back. They just about save it. So 1 AK and 1 Galil kept into this next one. For Enterprise, though, they finally got a buy of their own. Forcey's got that AWP out. And as we were pointing out earlier, Forcey didn't get a single opening kill with that AWP yesterday in their opening matchup. So it'll be nice to see if he can take some initiative and do something early here. Because on that CT side of Nuke, you've got a lot of options with that AWP.
Yeah, and I think coming into this game, you've really got to look to your stars to deliver. It was the same story last night in the elimination game. You have to look to your star plays, the biggest pieces of your puzzles to take you through the biggest moments. And here comes the play from Team Hungary. It's a vent dive of a couple of players now straight in towards the lower side. Fleeve is trying to cut off rotations and keep players up on the site here alongside Aaron, and he finds one right through the side of the hut. In the meantime, his teammates are already planting the bomb down on the B site, and Badito is pushing forward into ramp. This aggressive play into the AWPer is going to overwhelm Forcey. This is not the start Enterprise would have looked for. They're completely shut out, and it's the pace change there from Team Hungary, calling that quick play in the gun round. So perfect for them.
A lot of teams like to have an idea ahead of the game as to what they're going to do in their first gun round. And a lot of teams like to go for something fairly fast in that first gun round, just to see what the response is like from the CTs. If they can't hold the door aggression, if they can't hold that fast A aggression, that's something you can really put into play and use as mind games later on in the half. You can start to maybe think Enterprise get scared of that A play, right? That's something they are now going to have to think about in the back of their mind. So I really like the call early. They completely bypassed the AWP. This is a great start for Team Hungary. I always knew they were going to do well in this one, Digko.
Yeah, your prediction would say otherwise, though, Hawker, and you're never going to live that down. Just accept it. But here
I got hacked, man. I got hacked.
Yeah, okay. Might change your prediction or something. Here we are. Badito with a kill through. There's a gap in the left side of that smoke. We do see teams sometimes throw the 3 smoke variation to get this control outside. But you can, of course, throw the 2 smokes. Often there will be a little gap on the left side of the closest smoke from the T side, so certainly you have to be aware of that. Is now go into a 5 versus 4 situation. Enterprise, it's a similar story that we've seen last night for Fiend on their last map of the game, right? You get caught off by that first gun round aggression, and you have to go straight back down to a low buy. But a lot of teams feel comfortable and confident in what they've talked about before. You don't call the timeout just yet. You just play another gun round. Try not to get caught out by any of that aggression. And who knows, they could even win around like this with the Deagles also.
Yeah, they keep landing shots like that one from Forcey. And if Badito keeps struggling, he's going in with the Glock with a player there to back him up. Finally, they will force the CTs to play slightly more passively. Yeah, this flash could be nice.
Oh, good flash indeed. No reward, though, from Mattis. He couldn't quite pick it up. Hungary now backing off. They're
and now
leading the lower side. Yeah.
They know they can come back up.
Yeah, because that flash, they pick up the information, and now with 27 seconds left, they enter the A site. The CTs are not inside of the site itself, but they have taken lobby control back, so you can still have a bit of a say in this round. Although Hungary very likely to take this one without too many casualties. They're starting to sit back in their post-plant positions, 2 posted underneath heaven. As the bomb timer will continue to kick on. Mattis around the other side of vent. 1 kill for Fleeve on the way. Forcey's found another headshot though, a second of the round. Now you look to the rifles to try and hold on to the site. In the meantime, Fleeve finding another successful frag himself, and that is going to force Enterprise out of this one. They're not going to be picking up too much success on the way out as they look for exits. Badito will hit another headshot for Team Hungary. They're off to a flawless start here. 5-0 Hawker. It's going to be another gun round coming up for Enterprise, and as I previously mentioned, I don't expect a timeout here coming into this. I think they've just got to be ready that they're capable of dealing with some of that aggressive play. Nice little AK stolen on the way out there.
I'll take that, but it is just a consolation prize at this point. Round wins need to be coming in soon. for Team Hungary. As we were pointing out, a good read in that previous round, especially when you know you're against pistols. If you spot a couple of players towards one bomb site, it's normally a good idea to just double back and go the other way to try and avoid a potential stack. Fleeve is 14-2.
Yeah.
It's so early to be having that sort of scoreline.
Yeah, obviously the pistol clutch, he just kept getting 3Ks in the follow-up rounds. In the gun round, he was even able to find a crucial kill through the hut itself. So this round, incredibly important. It's not going to be that quick pop from Team Hungary. They've thrown the outside smokes, and they're going to leave one player down. They've set that precedent early in a couple of the lower buy rounds to just show that they are going to commit with those smokes at times. So you have to worry about that. You have to start wondering, do I rotate a player down? And here comes a potential ramp split.
The Molly's going to buy time, and now there's a rotate arriving. Forzy's AWP doubling up on ramp. That could be so valuable here on the hold.
Yeah, Mingus has the flash at the ready, but he's going to be under pressure now. Just has to go for kills. He found one, and his teammates rotated down to help him. So Forcy, playing from behind the big box, has delivered one more. And that's immediately put a halt into this play from Team Hungary. They've lost another player. Fleeve out of play. And Forcy, just patience behind the big box at ramp. Able to swing out for a kill once the rifles have arrived to help him. And Corey was the player that committed outside with the smokes early, but he's left alone. Now coming up the vent, his barrel pokes through the vent side, and Mattis knows exactly where he is. First round now locked in for Enterprise as the scoreline reads 5-1. Team Hungary still in the lead, but another gun round, that's Enterprise. They are finally on the board.
And this time, the ramp play coming through is always difficult when you're going up against two CTs there in position ahead of time, but they also didn't have utility deployed into hell. So even after the first trades begin, another player just rotates over to assist even further, just drawing the attention away from that AWP of Forcy, who is sitting back. He took yet another kill to make sure the round win was comfortable. So finally, Enterprise on the board. And these teams have played against each other on Nuke 2 times. Went 16-9 in favor of Hungary, I believe. So they will be assuming here that Nuke is the map that they can go to and be the one that's reliable for them. It certainly started off that way.
Round 7 begins. Team Hungary have gone for a tactical timeout right at the beginning of this game. They want to stop and stifle any potential round wins that Enterprise might get going here. You know, if they break down the T economy, they could certainly get into this first half, get into a rhythm, maybe even a flow state. So you want to try and disrupt that as quickly as possible. And as you said, Team Hungary have turned up with a lot of preparation notes, so maybe having a look at those. But Fleeve was the player that they put a lot of stock in. They put him down into a secret. They got him into a good position early, and he's not able to do anything with it because Forcy's AWP is positioned at secret.
Forzy's positioned himself really well in the last couple of rounds, just switching up his position a lot. That's exactly how you want to play as that CT AWP on Nuke. You can play down secret, you can play in towards ramp, you can even push in towards hut sometimes and just go for a pick. So I like the way he's playing across the map. Hard to predict, and the bomb just goes tumbling. It's too easy.
Too disjointed right now for Team Hungary. They've now taken 2 individual fights with no trade potential. Oh, nearly a whiff that from Corey, but luckily he will take that kill into the rafters. Just now got his teammate Aaron. Oh my God, Aaron's just pushed out and tap out 2 kills at the beginning of this round. They can back up the vent. Aaron is looking at that as well. This is not a round that Hungary should have got themselves into as easily as this, but they've completely turned it around. Bomb will go down, and now a retake needs to come through from the CT side.
Forzy was spotted down those vents, so they could really do with Mangus trying to run a distraction to maybe allow him to come back up if they want any chance on this retake.
A round from Aaron.
I don't think they're going for it.
I don't think they really have the resources to be able to commit into this, especially with that AWP, right? You've got a lot of utility, yes, on the back of it, but not a lot of money, and it's still unlikely you get back in. You don't have a smoke, so you can't do that Heaven one-way smoke to get back in and start isolating some fights, and you really needed Magnus to make most of the work happen with his A1S. I realize they are letting some of the weapons be saved over here on the Enterprise side. That's exactly all they needed to do. Now we take a look at what they can salvage here on the CT side economy. Now there is a buy available here. They are going to have one player that's a little weak, but maybe a drop from his teammate can come over, get him some extra nades. And a buy should certainly be coming through here for the CT side after that save call.
It's a round that Enterprise will be frustrated that they lost after getting such a comfortable start off the back of these 2 kills. It ends up just being the fights coming in. Firstly here from Corey on the flank. That seemed to cause some chaos, and then Aaron was able to capitalize And as you pointed out, still plenty of money for both teams. Mac 10 in play on Bedito, though, even though they had money for more, but Forsey just keeps on finding these early kills.
A lovely kill from Forsey. He's been very dynamic, very impactful, but what's the call here from Team Hungary? They're starting to fight straight in towards the site. Aaron again, coming in, but alive with a double kill. He has taken down 2 with 1 foul swoop, and finally, he is shut out of the round. Good timing as well on Fleet to re-peek out of hut with a distraction set up by his teammate. He catches one player inside the site looking the wrong way. And now Magnus hasn't really got too much of a shot. He has plenty of time though. So the bomb down in lobby. He's actually going to immediately reposition and try and get in a better spot here. This extra time that them having to go back and pick up the bomb could give him a really good shot here, Hawker.
Yeah, he could have tried to hold the bomb if he wanted, but he's trying to see if he can just completely catch them out. I think Team Hungary might start to realize, though, it's been a bit too soon, and Angus was maybe expecting them to go B, but they just run it back to A. And now Hungary probably know he can come from anywhere. They've even smoked off main.
Yeah, this is making things very difficult for Mangus, who now will not have a lot of time. He doesn't have a lot of utility either, so can't do that Heaven one way. Has to try and play contact through Heaven and pick up one pick. And as soon as he gets that, there's a shot, but right now, with the post-plant position established in lobby, it's very difficult to see him winning this round. You've got to force them out. You don't have a smoke. You don't have a molly to keep them back. This is just looking so unwinnable right now, but they've given him the shots. They've given him the fights, and Mangus just gets 2 kills when the times tick too much. He can't win the round because of time, and they're happy to swing on into him. And just taking that time, Hawker, that amount of time he had to waste thinking it could possibly be B. He goes back into mid, and the re-smoke comes in, as you pointed out. There's just not a chance there for Mangus.
It is quite surprising to me that he thought it might end up being a B play, because Hungary had just got all the kills out onto that A site. You have to assume from their perspective, they think that A site is likely to be clear, and even if it's not, they can just group up and try and take the fight 2-on-1. So Mangus may be overthinking slightly there, but it is Hungary who are able to hold on for another round win, and these early fights out towards A are starting to become a problem for Enterprise. They have to show better resistance.
Oh, good kill from Mattis. Corey's down him. Oh, Mangus gets the flanking around the backside. That's going to be Aaron out of the round. Oh, spotted the legs and the way up the ladder, and that's the bomb. Oh, a horrible start to the round here for Team Hungary. Bomb still recovered, but it's shut down by Forsey, who has moved his way through the ramp. A very proactive round out of the CT side. Confident fight's being taken. And Coolio, clothesline, decapitated and left dead on the floor. 7-2 as Enterprise managed another round here, Hawker.
He was on that ladder for a long time. I think his teammate might have been blocking him. I'm not entirely sure.
It looked like it for sure up at the top of the ladder.
Otherwise, it doesn't make much sense.
That's our team play right there, Hockey. You know, the amount of times we're trying to get, Heaven quickly on Nuke on CT side, we just block each other on the ladder. It happens a lot.
It can happen. I was very impressed the other day when one of our friends, Brandon, pulled out that smoke on Nuke, where he threw the smoke from Yard up towards the one-way smoke in Heaven to pretend he was retaking from Heaven. I know, right?
And then he pushed through main, so he distracts, pulls away the attention there. Obviously, he's coming to Heaven, he's quickly made. So, yeah, cool idea.
Down to the low buy for Team Hungary, though. Apart from Fleeve, who had that bit of extra cash, he will stick with the pack on that AK and try and trade his teammates. Those Yard smokes will give them access down to the lower side of the map. Forsey, no line of sight onto those players, but they should be aware of this possibility. You can already see Alive has rotated down ahead of time, and Forsey's found another kill. He just keeps on finding these picks. Alive should look for one here and probably fall back. He doesn't want to let them close the distance. Another angle taken. And oh, what a spray from Alive. That's the M4A1S spray right there. Tight as hell.
Yeah, nice little 25 bullets now, Hawker, Used to be 20 not so long ago. I've noticed a large surge in fan base over the last sort of year or so with the online play. We've got actually a lot of new fans, so a lot of people probably don't understand. The M4A1S used to have 20 bullets. It used to be amazing, and then they kind of nerfed it a little bit, and then during the updates they've been trying to put into it, they increased the ammo count, and then obviously now with the damage, it's just so viable. It's way better in the price change as well. There's just a lot going for it, the A1S.
Yeah, if you started getting into CS recently, just count yourself lucky you never had to live through the SG meta.
Or the Revolver day.
Oh god, the Revolver day. Don't get me started.
It was just a day. It was just a day of hell.
Try and find some of those clips, because they were just stupid.
I was looking up, is it April Fools? Is it April 1st? Well, I don't know. It was just such a bad idea. It was just a bad gun. It was actually the opposite. It was a sick gun. It was too good.
If you are someone who only watched Pro CS nowadays, you probably wouldn't even know the revolver's in the game. I guess unless you watch the showmatch. Yeah.
Yeah, they do that.
Ooh, those yard smokes slowly but surely coming on through. Sounded like there was some mollies in play also. Maybe to try and create some gaps, but that hasn't happened. They've got down secret safely.
That is one of the biggest stories on Nuke you can look at. We'll get back to that because look at Force, he wasn't in position, he wasn't ready for it at all, and the bomb's down. It's split off from the rest of his teammates. They continue barreling their way through the double door, and the bomb decided to go towards Decon. Because of that, it's now down and in the hands and possession of the CTs. And Team Hungary, they had a great opening there. You've just got to keep running when you get that pick. You can't slow down. If the CTs stifle your play, if they slow it down, you're going to have a much more difficult time not only recovering that bomb, but with the weaker weapons, getting that space back again. You can't break through the defense and try and do it again. It's just too difficult to make that happen. And the mission impossible is getting this bomb back, and Mattis now has 2 players to back him up. Coming around the backside, Fleeve and his upgraded weapon is now out of the round, and they still are no closer to getting the bomb back. 40 seconds now, Corey's made the play forward, he's got one. They've got to realize now, once they look at the kill feed, there was 2 players in vent, they're looking back, and Corey, he's getting kills. It's now only the Alive left alone, and 30 seconds left. Corey fights into him, but the Alive will bring him down. A clutch comes through for the CT side, and Team Hungary, it's just frustrating when you lose the bomb in that position.
Definitely stalled them on their approach to the lower side of the map.
Look how tiny that keyboard is.
Yeah. Nice little one, nice for traveling with, I assume.
Yeah, it's a Mitchman size one.
There you go. Yeah, that's a round where I'm surprised we saw the wide swing there from the AWP coming down the vents. You have to be aware that they can be so far up, and when you wide swing like that, you're just so committed that AWP is always going to end up in your opponent's hands. Thankfully for Enterprise, though, they're able to hold on. They've got 4 rounds now, finally finding some success here on their CT side of Nuke. For Hungary, though, finally back to a bye. It's been a while since they've had the AKs.
I mean, you have to remember that Team Hungary had a fantastic start into the game. Strong game plan, 5-0. Enterprise are right back into this game, and they're doing it in the rounds that matter most. It's the gun rounds that are coming through here. You know, Team Hungary have given themselves a lovely buffer at the beginning of the game on their T side, but if this gun round continues to pan out like this, it's going to get a little worrying. So, came close to in the last round of getting into the site. Here comes the rifles out. They have to start seeing success again as you enter round 12.
I like the slower pace too here from Team Hungary. They had some rounds earlier where the fast A aggression was successful. They just got some rapid kills onto the A site. It's finally time to maybe see if you can play a slower round. That flash on Yard will force Forsey away. Mattis now has to be aware of main.
Yeah, they're not looking for him. Oh no, he whiffs completely. Coolio spins around and gets the crucial opening for the T side. And Aaron as well has found one. Forsey tries to peek down into the site. He does get one, but gets traded out instantaneously. And Team Hungary with the slower play. You know, just some simple utility there, Hawk, and it's able to get it done.
Yeah, they did a really nice job at just using that util to make sure they could sneak into main. And yet again, it's that play onto the A side of the map. Seems like these A defenders just aren't getting those early important kills. And so many teams will tell you, on that A side of Nuke, it's really important to get that first kill on the CT side. Because if it goes against you, you're just on the back foot with the trades. You're already falling behind. And if the Ts can just evenly trade onto the site, normally they're pretty happy with that. So losing that first fight is just so critical there. Hungary did a good job at being able to sneak into main to get that to go their way. And now the CT economy is potentially in trouble here. If Enterprise lose this round, this half could be a really tough one for them. But they found that opener they were looking for. Nice play over the top of those smokes.
Well, here comes the explosive play again. Mattis going down as one of the integral players on the A defense without a single kill. It's not going to be good enough, and it's going to put pressure on the rest of the defense, and actually just going to avoid A. They're going to run straight down B, and they now think they can take lobby control, but Fleeve has that covered off, and it's not the weapon for the job. Magnus dropping down with that MP9 to try and fight the back of the site. It's just not got the range, really, to help him out. So Team Hungary down in the site with a bomb down, 3 versus 3. Fleeve is nowhere near his team right now.
Oh, but Forsey misses the opportunity to get him out of the round. They know he's not on this site, though, so they may try and up the tempo on the retake.
Oh, but Ido is in a strong position, though. He can certainly take a couple of heads with him. He's starting to worry about that double door, and actually immediately gets taken out by Alive. Aaron having to play now. They know exactly where he is, and that close range helps out the MP9. And suddenly it's on Fleeve, the bomb. It planted, it's still going. Defuse off, and there's not enough time. He's done it with that one shot. Fleeve will get the round for Team Hungary. That's all he needed to do. And he was so tunnel vision on his one objective, and he's able to pull it off, Hawker. That is exactly what you need, and Fleeve has been just so clutch for them today.
They realize it just had to be the kill straight onto the defuser. Smart decision making, and a really good call from Team Hungary to drop down the vents in the first place. As soon as they realize the CTs have pushed into hut, that makes it really difficult to get out onto that A site, because you have the hut angle to deal with, maybe players in main, maybe players in heaven. There's a lot of different angles that are just completely separate to each other. So I love the decision to quickly drop down to the B site. And then even though Fleeve was fairly far away, he's able to get there in time, and now it's back to the fast aggression.
Aaron swinging out through hut. Find that opening. I think Aaron has been a revelation in this game so far in terms of his explosive ability. It's fantastic to have a player like that.
He was doing this yesterday too. He's got the most opening kills per round in the tournament right now, and he actually won every opening fight he took yesterday, which I'm sure is a huge reason why Team Hungary got to this point.
It's impressive to have a player being so confident, so dominant at this level. And that allows you to play this structured team play. I think we're touching that on the desk. I think Kassar was bringing this up. You have this team play element out of Team Hungary. Well, right now, it's working out. Can be difficult sometimes to play team structured CS against more of a mixed side. A side maybe here play a little bit loose, unpredictable. But Team Hungary are doing a great job. And okay, yeah, they're going to have to deal with some unpredictability. I think we've seen 4C be very dynamic with that AWP, as you pointed out. But the decision-making in the mid-round has been fantastic to avoid those problems and being able to adapt on the fly. And they're still doing it to a strong level. So for me, Team Hungary have been a very impressive side fundamentally today, but also just in those mid-round calls, have been very quick to adapt.
I think from the Enterprise perspective, though, they will be frustrated with how often they're giving away this early kill on A. It's just so many rounds. They just lose that first fight, and it opens the door for Team Hungary either to go for the A play or maybe even to open up elsewhere. Corey straight through the flames, though, and that is a bit too much.
Yeah, hot and heavy. It's going to be a 3K. Right through from Adias. He's out of the round, but he's certainly done enough to give his team a huge advantage in this one. The CT side certainly up in numbers. Mingus comes in with a kill on Fleeve, and that's the danger man out. Fantastic showing from him so far, 20 and 11. But now he's got to look on to his teammates over the shoulder of Coolio to see if he can do anything about this, and it's not going to happen. 30 HP, down saving that AK-47. And there's a round from Enterprise at the half. Of course, you can't really save here in this situation, so he's going to have to try and figure out where to go with the 1 versus 4 Hawker. You don't really know what you can get out of this right now. There's no information really as to where they are. You've just got so much space you've got to take and such limited health to do it, and that time is ticking on down.
You don't want to try and set this one up like the Cadian clutch dinker. You don't think he's going to win this one?
Yeah, no. You ever heard about the Coolio 1 versus 4?
No, because it never happened.
It didn't happen. Well, 10-5 half. And Team Hungary will be very happy about this, and that is the scene, or really the story of this round, is the Molotov. Just killing the first 2 players.
Oh, I thought you meant them falling flat on their face.
Yeah, that was exactly what happened. You know, you could go both ways with that. But Team Hungary, great showing in the first half. But Enterprise, I think they started to pull up the socks a little bit. I think obviously they went down 5 rounds early, which never helps. And you've got a very difficult road back into it. So they've won 5 gun rounds, which is solid. They nearly lost to the 4 supply round down into the B site as well, so they're able to pull off a crucial 1v1 there. I think Elive certainly is the player that was able to get them through there. You know, if you lose that round, maybe we're looking at 11-4, 12-3 half, so crucial round there for the Elive setup. I'll just take a little halftime break here of the V4 Future Sports Festival. It's been a fantastic event for all involved so far down here in Budapest. Budapest. Got to keep the pronunciations up.
Got to.
And here we are into the second half. CT side at the ready. Aaron's close by with a USP. He's going to be overwhelmed. A little bit of damage done. Fleeve with a headshot. Yes, out of the round. And Matt is trading back. He's actually got a double kill, so he's making up for some of the woes earlier in the game. But Corey comes in with a double himself. Coolio back into play. And now Mingus dropping back. He is rolling across the floor like a mango. Let's see if he can pull off the 1 versus 2 now. Low HP. Swing out from Fleeve. Really good start to the half from him. And Team Hungary, they have the pistol.
Another pistol for Team Hungary. And at this point, winning the second pistol round puts them them so far ahead here on Nuke. They will be really confident at this point that they can take this over the line. It looked like Enterprise were hoping that they could just use what was working against them, just with some fast A aggression. But the pistols here on Hungary landing some really solid shots early. And this is exactly what you have to do. You get those early kills, and then the follow-up players are just still in hut. They don't get out into the open. There's only that one angle you have to be worried about. Makes a big difference on that A-bomb site.
Yep.
For Enterprise, they are in a position where they decide to just save this one and put all their eggs in the future basket of the next round. I don't think I've ever actually seen eggs in a basket, Dinko. I've
Easter
heard the
eggs,
phrase.
man. Easter eggs in a basket.
Yeah, honestly, that may be the one time I have.
Yeah, Easter eggs. You know,
And I love Easter.
Yeah, Easter iconography. I was having this discussion with someone the other day, actually. Easter's better than Christmas because you know what you're going to buy people, plus it's cheaper, so it's just better in general. But I prefer Christmas. Just throwing it out there. It's coming up, so if anybody wants to give me a Christmas present, Hawker, they can do that. You're going to get me a Christmas present? You've never got me a present, Hawker.
Birds tweeting away right now. You've got no response.
You bought me some throat sweets, actually, so
I did.
I appreciate that, Hawker, caring fellow that you are. The 12-5 half, Team Hungary going for a bit of a bonus. They've got a few SMGs still in play, the MP9s, and of course the FAMAS. So if they win this round, their economy is going to be in a brilliant spot, Hawker. So for Enterprise, the pressure's on them to win this one.
When the pressure is on, you probably want to fall back on a strategy that you are confident with, that you know exactly what you're going to be going for. They've gone for the yard smokes, but it's the fake yard smokes back towards ramp, and Aaron was trying to play bait. But, well, I guess that's what happens when you're the bait.
Yeah. But Petito doesn't get anything out of it either. Not the best start to the round here for Team Hungary, but they are pulling it back. Coolio has found an important kill on the FAMAS. It's 3 versus 3 right now. And for the T side, they're going to be pretty disappointed about dropping those 2 early picks again. The Alive, oh, he's got a little lineup. Very lucky for the lineup there. Fleeve and Corey both go down. A bowling ball straight through for the strike. And Coolio's left alone in a 1 versus 2 with an AK. He's got extra flashes now as he fully equips himself with utility. He can certainly win this round. He's got a smoke, an incendiary, and 2 flashes to get back in with the AK. He does not have a kit, though, and that could come back to bite him, so he has to move quite quickly. Mingus now knows he's coming in from heaven. Molotov's going to make things a little hot and heavy below. Mingus drops back, playing with the information picked up from the Alive. Playing towards the vent. Flash goes through from Coolio, really trying to get one of these 1 versus 1 fights to go his way, but they play it well on the Enterprise side. They get through with their first gun round of the second half. And Team Hungary, pretty bad starting to the round, Hawker.
A nice little positioning by Mangus at the end there. He realized that because the CT had already mollied down below, if he just waits for that molly to run out and then moves into that position himself, it's unlikely that position will be cleared. It was easy for him to get the drop on his opponent.
You know what I've really noticed in this event is how many times teams are just calling tactical timeouts right after they lose 1 round. When they're up and they're leading, Fiend were doing this yesterday, you know, you lose 1 round on a gun round and you just immediately call the timeout. Even if you are still in the better seat, even if you are performing better, just try and stifle any momentum, just let them get back in their own heads and make sure everybody's clear on the game plan, no one forgets what they're doing coming into this. Because Team Hungary are only starting their second half affair right now, so they've got the notes in front of them. Let's see if there's much in that to really take note of for the CT side.
That lineup really was the key moment in the round. Good to see that one again, as Alive has been having a good game for himself. Here comes Matties, though, going for this early aggression out through door, and he's got straight down the vents.
Yeah, can't really do too much about that on the CT side, where you don't have too much utility, and that's the round where they lost previous. They didn't have enough money coming into this to get everybody onto the mollies, so there's flank from Coolio. He's about to find one in the vent. Oh, Mattis' AK gives him away, tucked in the corner, out of the round. And now Fleeve holding down the ramp play. It's getting desperate here for Enterprise. They're starting to run out of options. They had so many options at the beginning of the round, Hawker, but now they've got none.
Well, there's a kill. A much-needed kill for them. On towards Aaron.
Alive has been 6 so far, 21 kills.
Hoping to keep it up. They may need him to keep it up to win this round, as they remain a man down. Corey playing a really annoying angle to clear, because as soon as you start to round the corner, you're scared of other positions towards yard. Sometimes people will overlook this entirely.
It's a good angle. It's going to try and play contact at the main.
Yeah.
But the shadow advantage also gives player in that position just an extra second to react, and Corey and Petito will find the follow-ups. Team Hungary, strong statement back into this Hawker.
Quick, confident round win, getting them up to 13. This nuke performance has been as anticipated here. Always been a good option for them. In the previous series they've played against Enterprise. Even though they've been losing those series in general, they were always winning nuke. And this was just such an awkward scenario. Coolio barely even realized there was a player in the vents with him. Mattis hadn't made a move. He was waiting for a rotate down the vents from the CTs. And realistically, when you vent drop like that, it's so unlikely someone's going to follow you down the vent.
Yeah, no, you don't think about that too often, right? You don't think about that often enough. I reckon Forcey's going to do something with his scout in this round, Hawker.
Maybe.
Of course, if he does land a couple of shots, softens up some of his opponents, maybe that's when some of these weaker weapons can chip away at them, but they're just going to try and face down the ramp. Coolio definitely sounds like a word, you know, someone old trying to be hip, you know, Coolio.
There's a rapper called Coolio, isn't there?
I don't know, man.
Wow.
Not really into that.
Not hip with the kids,
No,
clearly.
I'm not. They're coming up the heaven ladder. Petito holding down, peers down below, and Adias out of the round. So he's going to look for a bit more here as he peers out of heaven. I have noticed recently, Hawk, I was talking about this to you today. I'm starting to realize maybe I'm no longer as young, you know, like obviously that's a thing.
Wow,
but like,
really?
But on Twitter today, there's a lot of Zoomer memes I just don't get. I just don't get most of the Zoomer memes now. It's kind of weird.
I don't think I ever really got Zoomer memes that much. It's just fighting with the USP. His teammate's finally here to help.
It's clean.
Easy pickings.
Aaron as well, you know, he may not have as many kills as some of the top fraggers on the server, but the impact he's had is second to none at times, Hockey, though. He's just finding so many of these entries. It's a great key to have. It's a brilliant asset for Team Hungary to have if you're deciding to go with some more slow, structured T-sides and it relies upon a quick execute at the end of the round. Just having a player that's so good at understanding his entry pass and being able to be so successful and so explosive, that's the player that every team wants to have.
14-6. Convincing stuff from Team Hungary. Having that strong start in both halves has helped, but they've clearly been the better team in the gun rounds too.
Yeah. It's been a very dominant showing so far. And just a reminder for everybody at home, you're looking at the 14-6 scoreline for Team Hungary. You would be forgiven for thinking this was the map pick of the Hungarians, but in fact, Team Enterprise has picked this map. They picked Nuke coming into this event. Or should I say, yeah, it was Team Hungary. The graphic, it rotates, Hawk. It rotates. I was so confused.
I was getting confused there for a second.
It rotates. It confused me, but there we go. Yeah, but this is...
You're just trying to scare me off my Enterprise pick, aren't you? I see your games.
Well, Hawk, it's not going well for you right now. I'm afraid to break that too. But collateral for Fleeve. He's taking down two players. The Alive and Forcey out of the round. Another kill for Fleeve. What fantastic game this guy's having. Shut down through the smoke. Adias able to pick him out. Aaron and Coy with a final couple of headshots. And 15-6 as Team Hungary are just one round away from securing their map pick.
They're making this look as easy as it is to beat you in a show match, Dinko.
Yeah, that did happen. I hope there's a show match at this event, and I hope I can get on the stage and reclaim my rightful scoreline on HLTV. Don't check it up right now, please.
30 bomb for Fleeve off the back of that round. He's just been absolutely everywhere. Obviously got off to that electric start, but he's kept it up there with a massive impact round. And it should be enough to bring them over the line here. Weak buy for Enterprise, but it's the best they can get as they face a potential map loss and a potential one-sided one.
Yeah, Corey with another kill. That's going to be an opening for Team Hungary to play with. And Aaron, even while blinded, is able to transfer onto two players. Oh, this is a rough start to be handed if you're Enterprise. Sprinting down into the lower bomb site, gonna throw the smoke on out to allow the crossover and put that bomb down. And Corey's flank around the backside, Forcey out of it. And the Diaz is now in a 1 versus 5. Bomb is down, but so is he. And so are Enterprise here on Nuke. Team Hungary off to a fantastic start into this game. 16-6 in the winners matchup. They look to try and head their way through to the main event for Hungary. They are one map away from doing that now, Hawker. This team have been impressive, and you can't really look past the man Fleeve, who is just the talisman for the Hungarian Counter-Strike scene.
You can see why Nuka's been a go-to map for them. They were never looking like this was in question, never looked in doubt for them. As you pointed out, Fleeve having a fantastic performance, and as you pointed out, Aaron having a lot of impact rounds with his kills. Out onto that A site, just so many rounds where they could get those early kills. And I'm hoping from Enterprise's perspective, they realize with the recent results and recent wins they've had against this team, that was just the opponent's map pick. They should be able to bounce back.
Yeah, you want to sit back, you want to focus on what is to come coming up after the break, and that's exactly where we're going to be going. After the break, we'll hear the thoughts of the desk and everything that went down on map 1 before we go into map 2 of this best of 3.
that your hand I wanna hold so long? Is that your look? What's the hook? I can only say that this is so good. Is that your smile? Is that your style? Is that your legs wrapped around me tight? And I love you like no one ever loved anyone before. And I love you like no one ever loved anyone before. And I love you like no one ever loved anyone before. And I love you like no one ever loved anyone before. I know, yes I know.
The unique cultural heritage of the Visegrad Four and their 30-year collaboration enrich Europe. The past year and a half has produced unprecedented challenges, which we have faced by helping each other. Europe and the world are entering a new era, and the Visegrad countries are joining forces to shape the continent's future. Recharging Europe.
You are not my friends, you're my brothers, my friend.